this stage. Alright, I'm going to let you know right off the bat, I'm actually using a guide for this stage. It's been days of practicing this stage, and 2 of those days have gone to actually practicing this stage with the guide. Why? This is the worst stage in the entire game, and the best guide I could find online for it. The guide is actually wrong, and I had to modify his strategy. I'll explain why soon. Alright, first problem is it does rely on some randomness. Right at the very beginning, at least. If you move your sub up 1, you'll see another sub. This sub has to die. But it won't always die when you hit it. So you need to restart the stage every time this happens. Be back in a moment. And it worked that time. Okay, good. Now, this is why this stage is such a big problem, and why it's the worst designed map in the entire game. Fog of War maps in tile-based strategy like this is already a big problem, because this is not like a real-time strategy game like, say, StarCraft or Dawn of War. This isn't one of those where a big part of your strategy in learning the game is knowing when to scout, knowing when to observe your opponent, and knowing what you're seeing and how to respond to it. It's not like that. This is a predetermined map. You don't need to account for your opponent building different units and sending them different places. All of their units are in the same spot and will do roughly the same thing. If I were to do the same moves every turn, it would always respond the identical way, the only difference being that every once in a while Sanja does less damage than expected as your only variable. Which means this stage isn't about creative thinking or strategy, it's more so about memorization, where you need to do the stage over and over and memorize where the units are and when they'll advance in order to beat it. Which is obviously not a good strategy map, where you just had to do it over and over until you've memorized it. That's not good game design. And the biggest problem is that you're fighting Sanja, where it's not a fair playing field. There is very little strategy, because even if you say, okay, well there is still strategy to the whole Fog of War thing, you could advance slowly through the reefs and the woods and stuff. No, you can't, because you're fighting Sanja. She can see farther than you can, and at any point she could use her ability, and her ability will allow her to basically get rid of the Fog of War for herself. She can see into forests, and will react in a way you could not have anticipated unless you've done the stage over and over, and you know she does it at that point, and you know she'll attack with what, and modify your strategy that way. So that's my complaint about how this is the worst designed level in the game. And I'm gonna continue on with this guide, and we're going to be seeing some more problems here that I had to modify myself. And this guy's guides are fantastic. Sometimes when I'm stuck, I'll see what his idea and train of thought was, and I go with something like it, or modify my strategy like it. But I don't just copy his strategy, and I end up never doing as good as him, but I'm doing it my own way. So, right now we're going step by step with what he's doing. And if you do step by step with what he says to do, you will die on turn 4. Because he forgets to write something, and then something else on the same day, he just gets wrong. There's another luck thing, by the way. I've taken that missile to my sub before and survived with 3 health. That may have just lost me the stage because of fucking luck. Again, not a great strategy. And here's some more bad game design on the translator's choice. Do they not get along? Yes or no? You would think it would be yes they get along and no they don't get along, because no one talks like this, but yes means they don't get along. Yes, they don't get along. Have you ever heard that statement in your entire life? I haven't! This stage pisses me off. Let's do it, MDB! Okay, Andy. Christ. Okay, so as you can see here, we use the AI's whole priority towards transports to lure in this copter. We're gonna be doing the same thing to lure in a bomber up there. And we actually want to attack with 2 of our junk units first. We want to give her her ability. This way she'll do it on her next turn instead of on turn 3. We want her to use it earlier. If she uses it a little bit later, it's basically guaranteed doom if we rush like this. So we're putting him there mostly for vision. Move along the battleship, move you up. Move you up. And everything is all hunky-dory so far. Actually, no, I already fucked it up. Because I was reading the guide. Here's what he did wrong. He says on day 4 to resurface your sub, but he never said in the guide to dive it. I read through the guide, and the only time it makes sense to dive it is right here. See you guys in a minute! Okay, we're doing this turn again, and as you can see this time, my APC and my sub both have 1 extra health, although I have ended the stage with 3 health on that sub before, so again, luck of the draw. That up there. There. Okay. And... oops. We need to dive the sub, which, again, the guide does not tell you. However, you need to do it, or that sub will die and cause your transport copter to die, and you need the transport copter. So, we got her to activate her ability early, which is good because most of her units are out of position. Here's another bit of random. This battlecopter will sometimes be here. It's not a huge deal, but it's just once again proves that this stage is awful. That cruiser, by the way, is not always right there. In fact, I've had it down over here before. It is ridiculous. And that's also, by the way, another complete game changer, whether or not that showed up here or down here. Because that greatly changes what I would do. In fact, I think the guide might not work because of that. I guess we'll see. If it doesn't work, I swear to God. So I've got the guide to my left here, and I'm gonna make sure that I follow this methodically. That goes up there. The battleship hits the cruiser, right? And under the cruiser with your battleship, and sub from the west. Now, sub from the west would normally be, like, right here. Because he'd be right here. But the guide would then be wrong, even though that happens in the exact steps, because fucking Sanja is random. So, you would have to go from above, or else that cruiser will finish off your battlecopter. Even if it's wounded, because it'll get hit by a fighter and be left at 1 health. Usually, again, because randomness in game design. And if he shows up down here, and you don't attack from above, while being sunk, you will die. It's horse shit. In fact, yeah, I believe we will lose because he's up there. And I think if he's right there, there's nothing I can do to stop him. So we're supposed to go up here. You follow under, according to the guide. We use our power at the end of the turn, so we can heal up and tank better. And now I end my turn, and my copter should survive with 1 health. However, I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be dead. 1 health, and the guide was wrong again. Because of randomness in fucking game design. Be back in a minute, folks! Okay, so we're at the same spot, and the cruiser showed up in the wrong spot again. So what I'm gonna do here is actually throw the fucking guide out the window and do it my own way. So I'm still gonna hit the cruiser. And actually, this lander... You know what, the lander can keep moving up. It's fine. Nothing's gonna hit the lander. What I want to do is get vision of that fucking battleship. Now she's gonna move ahead. She's not gonna see my goddamn transport copter right there because it's in the forest. You know what? I'll keep the copter alive too. There. Eat that. Yeah, it'll probably give me an extra turn on the wind timer, like I care about that. How did you see it? How did you see it? So we're here again, and I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep those 2 right there. And just see what happens. Oh, I forgot to use my ability. Fuck. Yeah, what happens? What happens if I stay there? Okay. The fighter doesn't advance if I stay there. Okay. First of all, get rid of that. Start working on that ship. And... I could drop off my units here if I want, but according to the guide, and I've never even got to this part, if you don't have your transport copter over here to drop off the unit here, it will not work. So, what I've got to do is, like, move up here, but I'm pretty sure there's anti-air around there somewhere, which is why you don't go up that side. So what the hell are you supposed to do? Fucked if I know! In fact, I'm gonna move that there, and just wait and see what it draws out. We're doing this my way now. Because the game's way doesn't fucking work. Or the guide's way. Okay, well, we can get rid of that. Actually, there might be a cruiser in the water. I'm not going next to the water. Okay, well, we can put that there. There! Well, we weakened the fighter. It's not dead yet. Keep hitting that ship. And now that it's almost dead, I feel pretty safe to actually take the copter over now. I probably should use my ability, though. I keep forgetting I have it. And apparently there's some kind of ranged unit thing going on here. Okay, well that threat is gone. Although this is very dangerous. Okay. Got this under control. I'd like to keep that copter alive, too. Because I feel like I could still use that. Hope they can't reach their own headquarters with that. Okay, so we can start taking that. I'm gonna use this. By the way, interesting little glitch I don't think I've ever shown off. I have 55 fuel. I don't want to go there. I have 53 fuel. So yes, it actually uses the fuel for checking like that. I'm pretty sure it's a glitch. Okay, well, if we've checked all these forests, then I think we can go ahead and just do this. Yeah. And I can be a blocker right there. You don't see any enemies around here? There's a rocket right there who can't reach. Good. That's all they've got. And it's wounded now, too. I don't see anything up there. Have we finally won this stage? This stage from hell that I've been working on for 4 days. Oh my god, we're finally done stage from hell. It's gonna suck editing this. I was gonna say, yeah, he doesn't have any he does have a weakness. His weakness is that he's not good at anything. No! No, it's not a strength! It's not a strength, and it's not easy to work with Andy. You can do anything, just not very well! That's not a strength! Feels good to have this done. Doesn't feel good to know that I've got to edit this now. Because there's going to be a lot of cutting around. Just destroying that fucking sub took enough tries. The second time through. God. I had so many failed takes of this. We're finally going on to Green Earth. We're more than halfway done the game. Until next time, have a nice day. I won't.